I'd like to call this regular meeting to order. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to be recording the roll.
All present except for Commissioner Shackelford, who has an excused absence.
Item C, approval of the consent agenda. The changes or anything that needs to be made.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Kaler to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion or concerns?
One correction, I was not present at the last meeting. So, fix the minutes.
We'll fix it.
I'll modify my motion to say that, make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Kaler to approve the consent agenda as amended. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Kaler?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Parkman?
Item D, receive and place on file from the Finance Director statement of revenue and expenditures, monthly cash flow report, and monthly check register report.
We would like to take the statement of revenue and expenditures and the monthly cash report off. Paulin is not here tonight, and we will put him on the next time. But we do have the monthly check register report, which we need to work on.
Any further review of the register and information in the register?
So we are reviewing the check register then? Is that-
Yes.
I make a motion that we receive and place on file the monthly check register report.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Kaler to receive and place on file the monthly check register report. Any further discussions or concerns? Roll call.
Seymour?
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Kaler?
Yes.
Parkman?
Yes. Item E, approval of the agenda. Are there any changes we need to be aware of?
Just so you know, item M and N, we'll have some discussion on those. There may not be action on those. We'll hold those in those items.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda. A 3-minute limit, please, and if you are able to please approach the podium and state your name.
First of all, concerning the EDC, who signs those loan documents? Who's ultimately responsible for them? Over $200,000 in bad loans, almost every recent loan, I believe, missing documents, poorly secured loans. To me, that's utterly disgraceful. What's even more amazing is that one person voted against joining the regional EDC. I'd really like to know what member thinks they're doing such a fantastic job that they don't need any oversight. But more importantly, I want to talk about the depot project. $88,000, the lowest bid. $88,000 over what the estimate was. 36% over. And I'm told this is typical. If it's so typical, why do we have to have a special meeting to talk about something that was totally expected? Why wouldn't that be scheduled in advance? Why wasn't the DIJ involved? They're the main project driver for the blueprint. And this project grew out of the blueprint. When an estimate is so far off, how can we even judge the reasonableness of the bids that we received? I asked the city manager how long he has been our city manager. He refused to answer me. When I asked why the bids were so much higher than the estimate, he answered, because the numbers came in higher. Well, I'm sick of these smart-ass answers from our city staff. I can answer my question. He's been our city manager for 8 years. That's 8 years that he has violated state law by not having a master plan. Our last plan was adopted in 1982. The 2000 revision is a joke. At the Parks and Rec meeting, I was told that we're applying for another recreation grant to finish the project that we've now had to scale back. And that they, and I assume that's the design group for it, have been contacting service aid groups in order to fund a larger playground. When did we decide that the depot area was of primary importance? Most of our neighborhoods do not have playgrounds. Do we expect young children to go downtown to play? The blueprint cautions against public restrooms. I thought the Arts Place restrooms were dealing with the perceived need for restrooms in our downtown. Why can the city find money for the depot? $20,000 from the timber sale funds, but not for the Arts Place. At the meeting, we were told that the bathrooms are required now as part of the grant. And we were also told that more than likely they will not be open in the winter. When I pointed out that no snowmobiles are stopping downtown, I was told, why would they? Do you really think that a pavilion with locked restrooms will make them stop in our downtown? Or open restrooms, for that matter? All of this is being done for a 2-day event. Special interests have controlled this project from the beginning. 4 years of the blueprint, and the only downtown business to benefit from it is Coleman Engineering. You have done nothing for the other downtown businesses. This project has grown out of control while the rest of our downtown crumbles. Last year, when the library came to you about the donation of the Kenny Studio building, they would need funding to tear it down. You sat there, you refused to fund the whole thing. You did everything in your power to weasel out of paying for that. You finally struck a compromise where you paid part of it. But suddenly now, we need $20,000? No problem, we'll find it for the depot program. I'm going to make sure that these granting agencies know that we do not have a master plan in place. Now I want to speak personal matter. I have a teenage daughter. The thought that you are putting in unsecured restrooms in the downtown disturbs me greatly. We have a limited police presence at our police station. Judging by the amount of vandalism we've had downtown in recent years, we have a limited police presence in downtown. Having open, unsecured, unmonitored restrooms invites assaults, sexual assaults, drug dealing, drug and alcohol consumption. I can promise you that if anything ever happens to my daughter or any of her friends, or to be honest, anyone in this community, because of these decisions, I will hold the city commission personally responsible.
Thank you. It's been noted. Any other people? Oh. Item G, audience. Plaque presentation to James Huss for serving on the Economic Development Corporation. We have a plaque for appreciation for 17 years of service for Mr. Huss, his service of donated time, his knowledge, his dedication to the city of Ironwood. Is Mr. Huss here? Thank you for your time, Alice. Business. Item H, discuss and consider Resolution 013-012 proclaiming April 26th through May 5th, 2013 as National Dance Week in the city of Ironwood. I think it's important to acknowledge the presence of our dance group and a lot of the young folks who are involved in it and in our community. And I think this is a great way to keep our kids healthy and engaged in the arts. So I am fully on board for claiming it National Dance Week in the city of Ironwood.
It's a great idea, and I'll happily make a motion that we approve the resolution proclaiming that week as National Dance Week in the city of Ironwood.
You have a couple of representatives here, and that's cool. If you want to-
Absolutely. So come up and have a few words for us.
It's my honor to represent the Ironwood Dance Company on behalf of National Dance Week. And as a part of getting the community moving and kicking, we are promoting healthy and responsible activity in the city of Ironwood and also on the Lookit Branch. As a part of National Dance Week, we are encouraging everyone, young and old, in the city of Ironwood to join us in some kind of outdoor activity to get away from the television, to get away from the computers, and to get with their community and participate in activities, whether it be outdoors, indoors, just as long as they get out and get kicking. Coming up on Wednesday, May 1st, 5:15 p.m., we will be extending a kick line from the doors of the Ironwood Dance Company, which is on East Air Street, all the way to the doors of the historic Ironwood Theater on Aurora Street. Approximately 175 people are needed to make that line possible. 5:15 p.m. We will all join for a 3-minute session, and it is a virtual kick line because nationwide dance companies by the thousands will be participating in this one-day event. So we have petitioned local businesses, chamber members, and all members of both Ironwood, Bessemer, Wakefield, Ramsey, Hurley communities to participate with us. And it's one way to join hands for a moment as a community in something healthy and recreational. And also standing as a solidarity after the week that we have had nationwide to recognize the feeling of community that we all want to be a part of. Proceeds from this event will be going to UPDON, the Upper Peninsula Diabetic Outreach Network, so we can support the diabetes research and development for our local people with diabetes. So I thank you, commission members, and I expect to see some of you at our kick line for National Dance Week.
So if someone is interested in enjoying the kick line, they can just meet at the dance
Anywhere
company?
along the way, folks. So anywhere between the Ironwood Dance Company and downtown, we will have it marked off along the way. All you have to do is join hands and join the water.
Thank you very much.
May 1st, Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
I think I interrupted you were making a motion.
Yes, sir. A motion by Commissioner Semo. Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Tower to approve resolution 013-012 proclaiming April 26th through May 5th, 2013 as National Dance Week in the city of Ironwood. Any further discussion, concerns, or comments? Roll call.
Howard?
Yes.
Care?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes. Thank you. Item I, discuss and consider a request to submit a letter of support for the Gilgit County Conservation District grant proposal for the USDA's Fish and Wildlife Services.
This is the second time you've probably seen this packet. It was presented first in December, but I wasn't able to follow through with it. The Gilgit Conservation District is applying for two grants from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for improvement of streams in the county, and not directly inside Ironwood city limits. But we think that improvement of those stream areas would increase tourism, which would have a positive effect for motels, hotels, restaurants, and sporting goods stores. We received information from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife representative out of Ashland, stating that the Great Lakes Basin has 60 applications for grants. Curiously, 12 of them are from the Lake Superior Basin. We don't know exactly how many will be awarded. We've asked for 2, We have received from them some mild hints that we're going in the right direction. It was suggested that if we could come up with a portfolio of support letters, it would be helpful for the application. I've already seen the Ironwood Chamber of Commerce, and they'll make their decision whether to submit or not. It's also been suggested that later on we contact Wakefield's Chamber of Commerce, not Chamber of Commerce, but Commissioners and Bessemer as well. I have attached a sample letter, but I want to caution you, you write your own letter, of course, but also only consider this particular grant. If we come up with a different grant, we'll come to you for an additional letter, and you'd have a chance to review that particular standards of that grant. If you decide to send a letter of support, send it to the Gogovic Conservation District at 500 North Moore Street in Bessemer. The address is on the third page, and send it to attention of Stephanie Anderson. Do you have any particular questions you want to ask about this?
Now, Bill, this letter would go from the City Commission to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service?
It would go to the Gogovic Conservation District, and we would have it in a portfolio which we would transfer to the Fish and Wildlife Service. Now, they may make their decision in May. We have some hints that they maybe have already started to make a decision, and there's been some hints that there's supposed to be a special meeting in September. But this is all a mysterious process for us. I'm trying to also get other members of the Conservation District to see other support entities such as Trouts Unlimited, Ducks Unlimited, Rough Grouse Society, National Wild Turkey Federation, to see if they will give support. I'm trying to deal with more of the governmental and city units, and someone else will deal with the other ones if I can get them to move. That's one question. Is that helpful?
And any project that would be granted money would be approved by the Fish and Wildlife Service.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Now, we actually applied for 4 grants, 2 of them to the Fish and Wildlife Service, and 2 others to a rather mysterious, to me anyway, a rather mysterious National Conservation District, or conservation outfit. And those were minor ones, one for dealing with invasive plants on the way to Little Girl Point, to pull those out and then replace them with native plants, and also another one along Black River Byway, Scenic Byway, same thing, take out the invasives. And we know we lost those. We did get those, but we're still in the running for the ones from the Fish and Wildlife Service.
We've seen this a couple of times. Anybody else have questions or concerns?
No, something good.
Yeah, I mean, you make your decision in private and send a letter or don't send a letter, whichever. I'm not expecting anything tonight. Just send it to that address, which is on the third page. Yes.
Actually, I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter, submit a requested letter of support to this project.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Sebo, second by Commissioner Tower to submit a letter of support for the project or proposal noted in item I. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Item J, discuss and consider action on default and revolving loan funds.
Thank you. Michael Brown will give you an update on this. He has reviewed it with the city EDC group and has some recommendations for you. Just a quick background on it. City revolving loan fund is actually federal funds through the community development block grant process that the city administers back to potential businesses. This loan process is considered, basically they call it the lender of last resort for businesses that can't get, they're not bankable, but it looks like they have a good business proposal. With the downturn in the economy, we've had a number of these loans default, and that's what Michael will go over with you, and items have the EDC also.
Yes, thank you. So we did have a discussion with the EDC earlier this month regarding a number of these projects. We do have letters from Attorney Pope indicating actions that the city can take and are viable actions. Those are in your packets as well. And basically what the memo before you tonight kind of goes over the different projects and what the EDC recommended to you for your consideration. So as you can see, I'll just kind of go through them one by one. The Black River Dental, the EDC voted to sue based on Attorney Pope recommendation. That was a 5-2 vote. The Entree Companions, EDC voted 6-1 to table the item until May to see how the bidding process goes. As you recall, we voted to bid to sell the seized equipment from that project. Josephson's Nursing Home, based on Attorney Pope's recommendation, there's really no further action that the city can take on that one, so the EDC decided to not take any further action. It was a 7-0 vote. Old World Meats, EDC decided to table the item until May. The owner has a potential, someone potentially to purchase the business, and the funds from those proceeds would be able to pay back the loan. So they're waiting until May to see kind of how that plays out. And then Sears, EDC voted 6-1 to sue based on Attorney Pope's recommendations. A little background, right now we don't currently have any funds set aside to go after pursuing and starting lawsuits. Attorney Pope has provided some minimal cost estimates if you decide to go that route. We have put in a request for more funds in the next year's budget in case you do decide to take some action. So really, we just want to present it to you and have you discuss it and figure out kind of a game plan. If you know how you want to go, how you want to proceed, if you want to take any action at this time, or if you want to think about it a little bit and maybe bring it back at a different meeting. You kind of let us know what your thoughts are.
Are there any timeframes on action needed?
Not at this time. We don't really have any word back from the state as to what happens if no action is taken. I mean, some of these have been in default for a couple of years now, so we haven't done a whole lot yet up to this point. So we're trying to make headway, trying to work out recouping as much money as we can. What the state has told us so far is that if proper due diligence has been done, if jobs have been created and reported, which is part of the loan program, the loans may be forgiven, but it's on a case-by-case basis. So we really won't know until they come in and do those audits, which HUD, federal government, plans to do eventually in the future.
We'll be having more discussions during the budget process too. As Michael said, there are some, maybe in your draft budget, some dollars in there to pursue these. But it will be discussed during the whole budget process also.
Now, I'm sorry. Any money that we would spend on legal fees would come out of the general fund, correct?
Correct.
But any money that we recover would not go to the general fund.
Goes back to the revolving loan fund.
So it was like an 18% number that we were allowed to use of the money recovered. So some of it could go to the general fund.
Well, I believe that the 18% is actually it's a formula to solve the administrative costs.
Those are for administrative costs. So for staff to administer the program, we can request a reimbursement up to 18% of what principal interest is paid to the city. So right now, we only have really 2 loans that are paying back on a regular basis. We can request up to 18% of that money that's paid back for administrative fees. So right now, any costs associated with Attorney Pope's time, we can take that money from that and offset those costs. But again, because there's only 2 loans that are paying back, that's not a lot of actual income.
Commissioners, any thoughts on waiting till our next budget, which would be July 1st, and possibly waiting for the HUD audits, or does our attorney have a recommendation as far as proceeding soon?
There's no statute of limitations concerning
got a 6-year statute of limitation, so 2 years from now, yeah, we'll be addressing it right now. But there's an emergency on the
Would our decision on participating in the regional RLF affect the resolution of some of these issues?
They'd still be our responsibility, so even if we participate in the regional program, these would still be here for us to be able to take care of.
I'm trying to find what I was looking at. I thought it said something about previous defaults would be forgiven.
If certain criteria are met according to the state, like one of their criteria is, they told me that if part of the requirements for the loans are job creation, and you have to report that, record it, submit to the state for their approval. If that took place on a particular loan project, and a business goes out of business by no fault of their own, just based on the economy, the state has said those could be forgiven. We haven't got formal in writing word from the state or HUD saying that's to be the case, but that's what they've indicated. But again, there are projects where the jobs weren't created for whatever reason. It's something they look at on a case-by-case basis. What we're hoping is that federal government, when they come in and do these audits, they're going to find that a lot of other communities are in the same situation as we are, based on the economy, just the unforeseen things that has taken place for the last few years. We're hoping that they're going to say, okay, we'll forgive it, move forward, and then work on moving forward with new projects. That's the best case scenario. Worst case is they come back and say, well, you still owe us the money in these loans. It doesn't matter how you get it, we just don't want to be paid. So those are kind of the extremes, and again, we don't have a definite answer of what they're going to do.
Well, I think we need to wait until we hear from the state, and let them do the audit and give us some direction on which way to go.
I would feel comfortable waiting as well, depending on what the odds are, to look at our future and our budget. We're going to be working on the next couple of months too. So, Commissioners, any thoughts, concerns?
Well, I don't see anything urgent. At some point, we have to make a decision what to do about each of these. So if there's additional information that will help us to wait.
Okay. And I will keep on top of the state for some more answers on that.
I guess we're not, no action. Okay. That takes us then to item K, discuss and consider participation in the regional revolving loan fund.
All right. And again, related to the revolving loan fund, the EDC had a discussion regarding the regionalization process. This discussion has started a couple of years ago, I believe. I don't know exactly when it started, but I know that the City Commission has discussed it. There's been proposals. They're getting closer to finalizing how this process would work and evolve and what would come out of it. Finance Director Paul and I went to a meeting in Marquette a few weeks ago to meet with the state and other communities in the UP to learn about the regionalization process and what would be involved. I outlined it in the memo to the EPC, which is part of your packet. There are two options. One, to participate in the regionalized revolving loan fund program, or we can keep it local like we're doing now. There are a number of reasons for and against either option, but overwhelmingly the benefits lean towards regionalization for a number of reasons, which are discussed in the memo. And the EDC had a pretty lengthy discussion about it. They did vote and recommend 6-1 in favor of participation in the regionalization of the revolving loan fund program. So that's kind of what the discussion is tonight. I want to hear your thoughts on it, direction you'd like to go. No answer is needed tonight on this. It's more kind of preliminary. We are reviewing legal documents that the regional funds and the state have sent us. If we want to participate, there's an agreement that will take place between the city and the regional fund manager, which is out of Marquette, which would take place. Attorney Pope has reviewed the documents, see if find any issues legally with them. I have a few questions about just some minor things, but they're letting the communities review these documents, provide questions and comments so that they can get it to where everyone hopefully should be happy. But again, we have a deadline to kind of respond to the initial documents by this Wednesday, so we're going to get some general comments out to them, some questions. But like I said, no decision is necessary tonight. Just want to give it to you to think about, discuss, ask any questions that you want to have.
When do you think that we'll need to take action on this by?
Well, I think what staff kind of discussed is we like to have the final agreement in place, at least what the wording is going to be. Once the state has gotten their comments back from the communities, they'll send out a final document of it. At that point, then we can bring it back to you for discussion. As far as the timeline goes, it's really based on how long it takes the state and the regional fund manager to kind of iron out the details with comments of the state and the communities. They're hoping sometime by the summer they will have it all finalized and be able to start signing agreements and getting participation by the communities.
I know this has been going on for quite some time, so it does look like they're going to move forward by the summer.
That's their hope. They haven't given us these strict deadlines or timelines, but they want to do it sooner than later.
And Michael, I believe they have selected a revolving loan fund manager.
Yes, it's Northern Initiatives out of Marquette.
And they work with a couple of our business owners in town too, outside of the city, revolving loan fund. So they're familiar with our area.
So, and a number of benefits to regionalizing is one that with the requirements that are part of the revolving loan fund program, they're very strict. And the federal government is going to be actually putting more restrictions and more requirements on top of what's existing based on situations here in Ironwood where we have defaults and other problems. Like I said, it's across the state. And we're not stamped here properly to manage those. You really need to have someone that really understands the loan process, underwriting, all the financial aspects of it. And someone like Northern Initiatives, that's their job. That's all they do is they issue loans, they do banking, things of that nature. They're certified, they have the professionals, they're trained properly, they're continually getting educated on, the new rules and regulations. So there's a lot of benefits to it. And again, once the funds have been regionalized and the city draws down on its current balance, the money then becomes defederalized, which means less requirements, less strict rules, more flexibility. If we keep it within the local, within the city, we have to follow the federal guidelines and rules. So really the benefits are someone managing it for us that knows what they're doing and greater flexibility in the future.
So pretty much the only con is we lose total control of the funds. That's pretty much it.
Right. I mean, the approvals would still have to come from the city. So any project that takes place in the city and the process would have to be ironed out, but it would go through the EDC like it normally does. They would review it, make a recommendation to the City Commission. City Commission then would review it. He would make a recommendation to the revolving loan, the regional fund board. And then the regional fund board, which consists of a person from the city, so typically a staff person, in this case, probably myself, and then another elected or appointed official, most likely someone from the EDC, would be a voting member on that regional board, along with the regional fund manager and other initiatives, state representatives as well. So they would be the final vote, but it would have to pass through the city. So for some reason the city said, no, the regional fund would take that into consideration. So it would still come through you, the city just wouldn't be the final say. It would go back to the regional fund.
I think one of the biggest concerns in the past with the previous commissions was the fact that our fund balance was potentially going to be absorbed by this That's not the case.
That's not the case, no. Whatever our fund balance is, once we transfer it to the regional fund, has to be used and drawn down for Ironwood projects. So the regional fund will take some time to build up. So anytime repayments are made, it gets put in that regional pot. So it'll take a number of years to build up enough money to actually have people dip into that regional pot. And you have to draw down on your local funds first. So I forget what the number is, but it's around $125,000 that we have for our current fund balance. So, it'll take us some time to draw down on that along with the other communities. I mean, some communities, they may have bigger fund balances, so.
Michael, once that money is put in, say we do regionalize that, fund balance goes over to the state, it has to be used in Ironwood projects, but then the payment goes back into the regional fund, so you really, one use of the remaining dollars and it gets regionalized. You can still apply for projects, but then it no longer has to be guaranteed specifically for Ironwood projects.
And one of the concerns was, at the meeting, especially in the UP region, is that larger projects, larger communities that have more pull and clout would get preference over smaller communities. The state has assured us that's not the case. The project will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis and a feasibility analysis. So if it works and is ready to go, it will be, recommended based on, is it financially feasible, is there a business plan in place, did they meet all the underwriting requirements, and is the project ready to go? So some larger communities may have more projects to propose. It doesn't preclude us from getting funds.
If we were to participate in a regional RLF, would the vetting process for the individual applicants be different?
Well, what would happen is we work with the regional fund manager to format an application. My guess is it's going to be standard across the region. So the whole UP region will be under one regional area. The Northern Initiatives would probably create a federal application that all communities would use. They're responsible for marketing the program, as well as the city. We can, advertise it on our website or however else we want. But Northern Initiatives actually, as part of their legal requirements, they have to market the program in this area. So the city staff will work with applicants. We're more familiar with businesses in town. People will probably come to us first, talk to us, and we say, well, these are some of the programs we have available. RLF might be an option for you. Have them fill out the application, get it to the regional fund manager. Really, the city would still kind of work with them, but kind of be the middleman and help the applicant along through the process with the regional fund manager. The bulk of the work, probably 95% of the work, is done by the regional fund manager.
Would our EDC have a role at all in this process, or is that not defined yet?
My goal is to have them involved to do what they currently do. So when a project comes through, application is submitted, the documents and underwriting process starts, and then that packet gets sent to the EDC for the review and recommendation. Similar to how it works right now, we would bring it to them, review the project with them, have them make a recommendation to the City Commission, and then the City Commission would review it, and in this case, you would make a recommendation to the regional board. So yeah, the EDC is still an important factor that will play a role in this. We don't want to lose sight of that. Because they're familiar with the process and the program, they have the knowledge and background to review these types of applications and provide insightful input.
Well, I wasn't too sure if we were at point of taking action on it or not. Is there any more information that we're waiting for? Or?
It would be the actual consolidation document. We're still working out the details of that. We have a draft here, but maybe draft or something different. So I hesitate to recommend that taking action yet until that document's been finalized.
I guess unofficial, if you kind of head nods if you're in favor of regionalization or in favor of local, just so staff has an idea when we continue working with the state on this process, they can at least have a heads up of, yes, you're in favor, or no, you're not, and so forth. So no official action, but if you kind of have your own thoughts you want to share with us, that'd be helpful.
I'm not too sure how to proceed. I personally think that this is a good direction. Our performance has been less than stellar. Hopefully this can help us do a better job. And it's the direction that we want to keep pushing. And consolidation of services is always a good thing, or often a good thing, and I think it would be here. So I don't know if you want to take action, but can't imagine what action we would take.
Well, we have the right to either approve option 1 or option 2,
If you
or
want to
take
take
an
action.
action.
Well, I'll
Option
make,
1 is the recommended option.
I will make a motion that we approve option 1.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve option 1 as recommended in participation of the Regional Revolving Loan Fund. Any further discussion or concerns?
And this, of course, doesn't commit us to actually participating. If the final document said something that red alarm bells went off, we could, that's what I would say about it.
Until you send that.
We're pretty safe.
Any further discussion or concerns? Can I do it? Karen?
Clear?
Yes.
Simon?
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes. Thank you for the information. Okay, item L, discuss and consider authorizing advertisement to bid for the removal of the Department of Public Works underground fuel storage tanks.
We started talking about this a couple of years ago. The city right now has our own fuel storage area where we fuel up the Department of Public Works vehicles. There's 3 10,000-gallon tanks over there with pumps, pump islands. With that, we have coming up some large maintenance items out there and possible replacement of those tanks, bringing them above ground. So we took a look at that here probably 2 years ago. Came up with an option to at least try in the interim here, and that's to go out to one of our public, service stations. And we ended up going out for bids for that with the Holiday Station. We're getting the vehicles all serviced out there. We've done that for about a year. Just to see how that would work. And it's worked well. In the process of our employees fueling up there has worked well in that whole process. We are recommending removal of the tanks. If we don't remove them, then we would have to go back into some pretty significant upgrades and replacement costs ultimately to those tanks. We also have insurance that we carry on those. We have annual reporting that goes with that, and we also have the liability of running that fuel station. So our recommendation is to go forward with tank removal. Tonight we are asking that the Commission authorize us to removal of the bids for that tank removal. We would bid that out and bring them back for the Commission for consideration of that cost.
What are the financial costs to update if we were to go with the tanks or tanks?
Right now, the critical element for updating is there's the tanks have cathodic protection. It basically keeps the tanks from rusting, and the cathodic protection is essentially gone, so we have to replace that at a minimum. And then I don't have a price that's probably in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. We have talked to the state about that, and being that we have single wall tanks in the ground, they are recommending that we take a serious look at bringing them up and upgrading those tanks so they no longer be above ground. Then you're talking in the, I don't have a price again, probably $50,000 to $100,000 range, and then what we get on public cable. So again, just a range of costs and what we have.
And we've gotten to the point where we really need to update them.
And they need to be updated, yes. Yeah. At minimum, the cathodic protection is in place, and I think sooner than later, you're looking at trying to elevate those tanks out of the ground.
Would you say it's fairly certain that there is no ground contamination at this point?
Not that we're aware of. I mean, there's no indication of that. Again, as you pull the tanks, or if we have an environmental company, we have to, help us with that, do the monitoring. If there were, we can verify that there is none. But there's no indication to us that there should be.
Well, I certainly think that we should get them out of the ground before there is. I'll make a motion that we authorize advertisement for bids to remove the tanks as described in item L.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sebo, second by Commissioner Taylor to authorize the advertisement to bid for the removal of the Department of Public Works underground fuel storage tanks. Any further discussion concerning this item? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item M, discuss and consider awarding the bid for the Depot Park Project Phase 2.
The next two items are relative to Depot Park. The city did go up for bids for the park improvements. We are working with a DNR trust fund grant on that project. We did get a number of bidders. As you can see on the sheet up here, we had 5 competitive bids. You can see what the price ranges are. Angelo Lupino was the lowest bidder at $331,613.53. With that said, we do have a budget for this project that we're working with. And it's essentially the DNR trust fund dollars that we're working with. So again, that budget is $243,700. So again, project scope would have to be amended. Again, if you look at these type of projects as multi-phase projects, we are working on phase 2 right now. The first phase was getting the pavilion shell in place, which was done under phase 1. This would be phase 2. And then I would anticipate probably down the road, depending on the interest of the community, we may have a phase 3 and 4, depending on where the project evolves into. So with that, you have to bring your project into balance with the budget. Right now, talking to Mike Foley from Home Engineering, we are reviewing this with the DNR trust fund people down in Lansing. So we're not prepared to recommend award tonight. I thought we might be. That was kind of the goal, but they're still having some dialogue on the project. So with that, we wanted to make you aware of the project, aware of the bids, aware of the challenge of modifying the project scope to work within the budget. One item that was discussed with the Park and Rec Committee, there is dollars that have been set aside through timber sales. There are $20,000 that the city has at its discretion to spend on whatever you'd like to spend on. That has not been rolled into the budget intentionally, so that can be used for priorities of the city. So if this is a priority project, as you see for the city, that's something that we would need to know if you would be interested in authorizing an additional $20,000 of the timber sale dollars to be used for these projects. This was discussed with the Parks and Rec Committee. They did recommend on a 3-2 vote to recommend using the timber sale dollars, $20,000 for this downtown project. Is there any discussion, questions?
Well, I do think that the Depot Park is an important project, and we're trying to develop a community gathering area. And the governor is in support of a trail usually start in Ironwood and go to Detroit. So I think that a trail is important. I think it's just important to have a nice area. And I would like to see the $20,000 that's not spoken for to go into the Depot Park.
I think it's important too, but I think we should also wait and see what the final discussion with the DNR is with this. I think the price difference is so substantial. I don't know why that is exactly.
And for a bid like this, what occurred through the process, maybe just to step back a little bit, with the initial grant application, you submit a general overview of what you'd like to see in the park. There's no design, you don't have a lot of details, you submit the application with various elements in there. So that's the first step. Then we're successful, obviously, with the grant. Then it gets into the design phase, where you actually sit down, the engineers design it, lay out, with a lot of input from the different boards and committees of the city. So I had Park and Rec, the IDA, the Planning Commission had a look at it. We had the Depot Park Working Group, which is a group of 15 people that look at it. Everybody throws in their perspective, thoughts, what they'd like to see this park look like. That's put in, and invariably that's bigger than what there are funds to build. And that's what happened here too. So that started, they kept on squeezing it down, the engineers kept on squeezing it down and said, okay, we gotta get this within budget or close to what they feel the budget would be. And then you go out for bids to see where we're at. So So again, that was the process that, kept on squeezing. If you saw what it was originally with all the, thoughts and, and all good thoughts and all good perspectives that went into it, it had to be pared down and work within the budget. It did go up for bids. There's a couple philosophies on, on these type of projects. One is you bid it where you think it's, at budget or maybe a little bit over. It's easier sometimes to reduce something than say you were under budget, you try to negotiate something back in. When you negotiate back in, you're not in a competitive negotiating position. You're negotiating with that contractor on adding something, and it's not as competitive as going out for bids. So from a financial standpoint, you can reduce, you have competitive bids on everything that's there. So a couple philosophies, not a right or wrong approach to it, I guess. This one did come over, and you got to tear it down at this point. Again, still discussions with the DNR on the grant and the project itself. So no action necessary tonight. If you want to include the discussion on using $20,000 timber sale money at the point that we have a better direction for you, that's still at the commission. Either way, if you don't, then we'll prepare the project down a little more at some point.
And I think that rather than dwelling on the things that we are going to have to give up, which are sad to see, I think it's important to focus on what we are getting, which is really a lot for not a very large amount of money. $50,000 for what we're getting, I think is a really good price. It's revacated motorized trails and bathrooms. There's really a lot. And I would be interested to know exactly what we could get in where we not utilize that $20,000. But I don't think we're ready to make that decision yet the way it sounds. Is that safe to say?
I think that's to come back to you. We do have another commission meeting, especially it's going to be a workshop, and maybe set it up as a commission special meeting for the 6th. That would be a time to bring it back to you with more direction and after the discussion with the DNR on the project that
That's fine. I'm not prepared to earmark 20,000 more.
Next, no action, pending upcoming meetings and video talks on items and correct?
Yes.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments on this before we move on?
When exactly are we going to be dealing with this again?
Well, we do have a workshop on, that's something we're going to talk about later on here. It's a budget workshop on May 6th, I believe. So that would be a logical time to have this, to turn that into a city commission meeting, especially when we could, have a workshop too, but then have this item on the agenda. So, May 6th.
Okay, moving on to item O, discuss and consider authorizing city staff and city attorney to negotiate and enter into a lease with the Government Services Administration for rental space in the Memorial Park.
Here will be a little background information on this one.
We've recently been approached by General Services Administration to rent space here at the Memorial Building. The space that was requested is the old engineer's office plus the district courtroom. This is a lease that is 5-year lease with 2 years being firm. Some extensive remodeling will be done, but the government services will pay us in one lump sum once they take possession of the space. So there's some things that have to be done. We have to work out hiring an architectural firm, and then they will oversee the project. It's just one of those things that we'll have to do, because there's a lot in that lease document. We got the short version of the lease, and okay, it's that. So it's really great to see that government office stay in the city of Ironwood, and we're happy to be able to accommodate that in that respect.
I think it'd be a good fit.
Which office is this?
It's the Social Security Administration. They're down to 1 staff, I mean 2 staff people. So it's a shame to lose them to another area.
So they're going to shut down your,
No, they're going to keep staying there.
keeping that building too?
No, they're removed.
Shut down?
Yes.
Moved from library up here?
Yes, that is correct. It's too large for now.
It sounds like talking with them, they're under the direction too, as they renew leases or look at different opportunities, they are required to approach the local government entity too and see if they can be a partner with us. So they can approach us, show them the building, and as I think they look at other areas around town, they tell us that best fit their needs.
And to downsize, they have to downsize.
Sounds like a very good opportunity. I'm sure Renner would be very good.
I'll make the motion to authorize city staff to negotiate and enter a lease with the GSA for space in the memorial building.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Towers, second by Commissioner Seymour, to authorize city staff and city attorney to negotiate and enter into a lease with the Government Services Administration for rental space in the memorial building. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Seymour?
Yes.
Sauer?
Yes.
Dare?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes. Item P, discuss and consider authorizing city staff to hire an architect to prepare bid specs for renovation improvements of the memorial buildings. It's just kind of what we just told us.
Right, all those costs are reimbursable.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Towers, second by Commissioner Seymour, to authorize city staff to hire an architect to prepare bid specs for the renovation improvements of the memorial building. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item Q, discuss and consider approving lease agreement for rental space at the city center building with general lab and extended.
Again, the Downtown Arts Place group has been very active down there. We do have some interested parties that do want to rent some of the called second or third floor office space up there, and both Jim and Tex Andrew will be co-sharing one of the spaces, and the agreements here are similar to what was developed for some of the previous renters. And it sets up their rent, and there's a security deposit, and it's a one-year rental agreement that will be renewed annually.
It's nice to see progress, improvements, and the events happening in the building. So it's a good move.
Is this rent consistent with what the other tenants are paying? I would guess it is. Is that true?
We don't have any tenants down there, so
Lawrence and,
yeah.
Ironwood.
And Lawrence is a little different, her space is smaller, and she's also helping, with some of the management of the building, so hers is a little less. But it's a little different. This one is monthly, it's $100 a month. They pay utilities, electric, and they're also donating 10 hours of time to help fix up the building or whatever needs to be done down there. So it's a kind of a variation, and it's all based on their space, their space.
I'll make a motion, we approve the lease in item Q.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the lease agreement as noted in item Q. Any further discussion or concerns?
Other than to just have a little shout out for the open house that the Downtown Art Place had this past weekend, it was really, really good. And people should make an effort to see what's going on. It was really well done. There are a lot of artists. It's a really nice stuff. That's all I have to say.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item R, discuss and consider approving lease agreement for rental space in the city center building with Anne Batiste and Shaw Bergner.
Make a motion, we approve the lease agreement in item R.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the lease agreement as mentioned in item R. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item S, manager's report.
Just a few items to touch base on. I wanted to make the commission aware of a grant that our public safety department had applied for and has been contacted that they are going to be receiving it. It's a FEMA AFG fire grant, and we want to touch base on that. It's an amount of $40,375.
Brandon Snyder deserves all the credit. He wrote the grant, and it's going to replace 17 sets of fire doors.
So we were budgeting for, I think, 1 or 2 replacements a year, trying to catch up. It would have took us, 10 years to probably get caught up, and then use what's budgeted dollars and then leverage that against the grant. So
this is one of those really good grants. It's a 5% match, so it will allow us to, help with 17 members.
Heads up, there's a local grassroots group that are helping the city with the development of the new softball field over by the Middle Field. That's been a work in progress for probably 2 years now. They've done some clearing out there and some grading and that type of thing. This group of baseball enthusiasts that are passionate about the kids, basically working on a fundraising effort to get some dollars that can be used to put up fencing and some dugouts and that type of thing. So very active group. They're meeting quite regularly and going out trying to get some funds donated so they can continue with the development of that improvement. So it's a nice extension of the city that's helping develop some of our park improvements. As we had mentioned, we're looking at a budget workshop with the City Commission. That'll be 4:30 p.m. Monday, May 6th. And we'll convert that into a special City Commission meeting to talk about the people project, and we'll have a workshop after that. So just to make everybody aware of that, and it'll be up here at the Memorial Building in the conference room.
What time was that again?
4:30. 4:30 on Monday. And we have a regional trail group meeting this week. Again, that effort is continuing to move forward with the development of the regional trail system through our area. And this group has been very instrumental in getting this trail developed and moved it forward. So that group is getting together, talking about the process to develop recreational trail authority. Thank you. And it's again all the different communities working together. It's different cities, the townships, the county, all getting together to try to figure out how to make this work. And everybody's pretty enthused about it. So we're having a meeting again this week, and that's something that this group is routinely getting together to work out the details and solve the problems.
When are they meeting?
They're going to be meeting Thursday at 10 o'clock.
In the women's club room?
It'll be a women's club or probably the conference room next door. That's the end of the report.
Thank you. Item T, other matters, 5 minutes remaining.
So I'm going to be absent on the first May meeting, which is the 12th, I do believe. So I would request an excused absence.
I'll make the motion to excuse Commissioner Seaman from the May 12th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Towers, second by Commissioner Kaler to excuse Commissioner Semo on the May 12th meeting. Any further discussion or concerns on this topic? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. You're excused.
Thank you. The other thing is we've been kind of trying to work with Excel a little bit on 2 different issues that figured one as well as I'd like to see them go. One is the placement of poles in front of Hiawatha, and the other is doing some enhancement concepts on US 2, perhaps burying the wires. And pretty much they say, yeah, we'd really like to work with you, and here's what we're going to do, which is what we want. So I would like to encourage us to meet Excel in some capacity.
Absolutely.
Soon.
Absolutely. Just to give you a quick update on the poll issue up by Hiawatha. I gave you a call last Friday. So we had met with them a few weeks back, and it didn't sound very promising that they could do anything. They didn't walk away from there not taking a harder look at it. We did get a letter saying, they couldn't do anything.
Right.
But they did call back just the other day and said they are taking a look at that. They feel that they might be able to shift the pole over, and the design engineers are continuing to look at it. They were going to actually put a stake out there where they thought they could move it to for us to look at. So anyway, it was nice to get a call back from them and have some, at least they haven't forgotten about some enhancement. And then the enhancement, absolutely, we'll set the meeting and head over there, head over to Ashland to talk about that with them in more detail.
Because when we look at Hiawatha, we do not perceive what a first-time viewer sees. I took a picture in the pole, it's just right there.
Mhm.
And the double matter would really magnify the way a lot more. It'd be nice to get that one.
Right. So I'm expecting them to come out and meet with them out there again with that group and take a look at what options they might have.
That's all I have.
Anything else?
Anybody has any pull with Mother Nature, we can get a road straight set in this. So,
Okay, I guess that moves us on to item U, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. A 5-minute limit, please, and if you are able, please approach the podium and state your name.
My name is Bill Erickson. There's been some concern expressed about people feeding deer within city limits, and that it attracts wolves to come into town. It's been suggested by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources that cities consider prohibiting the feeding of deer inside city limits. Incidentally, I was at the Wolf Forum last week. It was held in Silver City, and the Michigan Department of Natural Resources explained the change where the citizens had signed petitions to override the law, and now another law has been introduced, and everybody was curious as to how that could happen. Citizens can sign a petition to override if the law has no appropriation. So the senator from Escanaba introduced a law with $1 million appropriation, so there will be a hunt, and there will be 3 hunts, all in the Upper Peninsula, in 3 districts, and go to his District A. I believe the Houghton area is District B, and I think the District C is just north of Escanaba. And there will be a limit of 43 on the hunt, which a lot of people think is not satisfactory, but keeping the wolves out of the city, if we don't feed the deer, that may help. For your consideration.
Thank you.
I'd like to actually make a comment. It's somewhat ironic that we have a city deer hunt and a law here to be fed in the city. There's a conflict there that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I don't know if the commission would be interested in addressing that issue or not, but I think there's something in the top of it.
well, we can prohibit feeding deer, except for during the deer hunt, I guess. Sure.
Or baiting is a
Or
part.
baiting, yeah.
If you want to go there, but that's the same statute. Bring something up for something else.
We have to leave the agenda for discussion.
You can do it, if you maybe bring back the council ordinance, what it would look like. Just take a look at it, see if you want to pursue it any further.
Sounds good. Anybody else?
I wonder if throwing deer carcasses in an open pit in a compost site attracts wolves. Remember, we were doing that a year ago, too. We shouldn't be surprised, really, that we're feeding the deer. That recreational is a recreational hunt. It has nothing to do with the deer management plan. We're 80% of the way through our blueprint. You're aware that we have over a 30% vacancy rate in our downtown commercial property. So it's great that the Social Security Office is going to rent space here. That either puts you in the position of competing with downtown property owners, or, and this is probably truer, none of those 30% that are vacant are suitable for anybody to rent. Either way, I certainly consider that to be a colossal failure of implementing the blueprint plan. And that Depot Park expansion is going to do absolutely nothing to change that. I don't know how many of you ever really go to our downtown. Last year we were going to replace the crosswalk, put special crosswalks in, we cut into the pavement, and then we found out that there were complications and it would cost too much. It was difficult. Are you aware that we didn't even seal the cuts that we made? And then we act all surprised when our downtown roads are crumbling? I applaud that you supported the dance company tonight, which to really support something, you have to do more than just sign a piece of paper. And that municipal parking lot that is closest to the dance company is a gravel lot. It's poorly maintained. There's absolutely no lighting. The sidewalk is generally not shoveled, and now we have Angelo Lupino parking a giant semi on the sidewalk area, just down from them. So do more than just sign a piece of paper. Just like you need to do more with complete streets. You passed the ordinance. You've bragged about it. It's second in the UP to do this. That's great, unless you actually do something about it. Have you seen our downtown sidewalks? Many are not shoveled. In fact, some businesses pile snow on the sidewalk from their parking lots. Others are poorly shoveled because we have absolutely no standards in place on what constitutes adequate shoveling. Most of the corner access routes to the sidewalk are not wide enough for a wheelchair to get through. Have any property owners been cited this winter? See our white officer there. But we aggressively target residential property owners for tall grass. Well, tall grass has never prevented anyone from going to our downtown. Misplaced priorities. There's pooling water in front of Book World and a lake next to Ragoni's. Nothing is done. Again, we're 80% of the way through implementing our blueprint. The municipal parking lot on McLeod, you were at the handicap spots are half filled with snow. The rest of the lot is plowed. We're dumping snow in the handicap lots. The lot just down the street here, supposedly for this building, that's half filled with snow. And this is when we've lost the parking adjacent to the building next door here. Now I know it's been a tough spring. I've had to spend more money on heating my house than I thought. I anticipated a much warmer spring here. There are certain minimum duties that city government is supposed to do, and you have failed the city. Now you mentioned Hiawatha, how important it is to have a nice clear line of sight. Have you seen the apartment building on Burma Road? Their front yard? He allows people to park there in the winter. It's a mud pit right now. It is barely plowed. There's mud, snow, and water over the entrance routes to that. And let me be clear, I do not know anyone that lives in that building. Nobody has complained to me. I have no way to get anybody in trouble with their landlord. Nor should they have to take steps to see that this is enforced. There is no way that anybody with any type of mobility issue could get into that building, let alone how disgraceful it looks going up to one of our supposed most important tourist attractions. When are we going to start enforcing the absolute minimum standards? Many communities, they prohibit people in a residential area from parking on their grass or whatever. It has to be gravel, concrete, pavement. Now, I'm not expecting that we'll ever go so far as to do that, but a commercial apartment building? We can't enforce that they have a real parking area, so we don't have this just for the community? Minimum standards like the rest of the nation does.
Thank you. Anything else? And we adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Simo, second by Commissioner Tyler to adjourn the meeting. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.